Yo, what's good everyone? This is AEO Boxing from Mariba, and we're here to talk about why David Benavidez beats Canelo. So as we all know, Canelo defeated Jaime Munguia in a modern-day Mexican classic. It was an entertaining fight for sure. Canelo took Munguia to Mexican boxing school and has reminded everyone why he's the king of Mexican boxing. Munguia, on the other hand, proved he's a top name at 168 and will learn from this experience. Despite losing, he has gained the respect from the boxing world and definitely from the Mexican boxing fan base. Overall, it was a good fight and a good card, but my biggest takeaway from the fight is that Canelo is on a decline. I'm not saying that he's washed up or isn't good anymore. That's far from the truth, as Canelo is still a top 5 pound for pound fighter and the best at 168. But if you compare this version of Canelo to the 2019-2021 Canelo, it's evident that Canelo has already left or is leaving his prime. And due to this fact, I think David Benavidez beats Canelo. Let me explain. This fight showed me that a good jab, volume punching, and a size advantage can beat Canelo. At 168, Canelo is a naturally smaller guy. He only stands at 5'8", so he needs to apply pressure and walk down his opponents to be effective. But if his opponents can dictate the range and keep Canelo at a distance, then Canelo is vulnerable and less effective. We saw this when Munguia utilized his reach and size advantage when he was on the outside and at the mid-range. Munguia's volume jab kept Canelo at bay, disrupting his forward movement, pushing him off balance, and making it hard for him to close the distance. Munguia would then follow this up with right hands and explosive combinations that will push Canelo back. Canelo will often slip, catch, and block these jabs and combinations, but allow those punches still manage to land and disrupt Canelo. This is similar to what Bivol did when he beat Canelo, but unlike Bivol, Munguia did not have the footwork, IQ, nor the stamina to maintain his range and dictate the distance. Because of Canelo's consistent pressure and Munguia's pride, Munguia was forced to fight Canelo on the inside for the majority of the fight, which led to his downfall and defeat. Based off that knowledge, I see David Benavidez doing way better than Munguia. Benavidez is known for his volume punching and has a good jab to go along with it. Furthermore, he has speed and power to go along with that. Benavidez is also taller, has longer reach, and is naturally bigger than Munguia and Bivol. So if Munguia and Bivol have success with their jab, volume, and size, then I expect for Benavidez to do the same. Compared to Munguia, Canelo will have a harder time closing the distance and will have to take a lot of punches and expend a lot of energy doing so. Canelo faded in the later half of the fight against Munguia, mainly because he had to deal with the constant activity and the youth of Munguia. If the same thing happens against Benavidez, I can see Canelo getting overwhelmed, especially since Benavidez is the more experienced, more spiteful fighter with a larger gas tank compared to Munguia. The biggest issue of Benavidez is his footwork though. Benavidez does not have the same footwork as Bivol. He has slower feet, worse fundamentals, and doesn't move in and out of range. So Canelo will eventually get to Benavidez, and when that does happen, Canelo has the ability and capability to cause a lot of damage. Despite Benavidez's size giving him an advantage, it's also a large target for a shorter fighter to attack, especially to the body. Canelo is a vicious body puncher, an elite counter puncher, and knows how to break down his opponents. And that was shown against Munguia. Canelo was picking Munguia apart on the inside, and what stood out to me the most was a left hook to the body. That punch slowed down Munguia and hurt him several times, but most importantly, it kept his right hand down in order to block that left hook. This would neutralize Munguia's most dangerous punch for most of the fight, which allowed Canelo to walk him down. I can see the same thing happening to Benavidez if he does not maintain his range and distance. But I'm inclined to believe that Benavidez and his team is aware of this, which is why you see him work on his footwork with guys like Rigondeaux and Roy Jones Jr. This is why Canelo needs to fight Benavidez now, because he's only going to improve. But it's not guaranteed that this fight will even happen since Benavidez is moving up to light heavyweight in his next fight. Not sure if he'll return to 168. My main concern was Benavidez being the mandatory for the winner of Bivol vs. Beterbiev, but with that fight being postponed, he has more time to explore different options, like going back to 168. However, he might not be able to make 168 again. He's a big dude. Maybe it's Canelo's plan all along to weight drain Benavidez back to 168 so he can have an advantage. I mean, that would make sense because, like what I just said, Benavidez is a big dude. He'll probably put a rehydration clause on him too. But who knows, this is boxing, anything can happen. But thank you for tuning in with Ayo Boxing from Mediba. Hit like, subscribe, and more content's coming your way.